Hello and welcome to English Capsules. Today's capsule, Conditional Type 1. Get your coffee ready and let's get started.
So, hello everyone, and welcome again to another conditional capsule. We had some conditional types missing yet. So, well, you can catch up with our two previous episodes on the introduction to conditional capsules, and we have already dealt with conditional type 0. So, today our focus is going to be on conditional type 1.
Right, okay. So before we start, we have to remind our audience that conditional sentences describe um, a condition and then a result. It's a long sentence made up of two parts. One is the condition and the other is the result. And what happens is that each of those parts are going to go in a different tense, in a verb tense, right? Today, as we are talking about the first conditional, we have to say that it describes a probable situation. So in those parts that I was mentioning before, so in one of the parts, we have the present tense, which is the if clause. And then for the other part, we have the future tense, which is going to speak about the result. When we say future, we mean will.
So it's important to bear in mind that we are talking about a probable situation. So I don't know if this happens, but the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of probability is will. For me, it's like I don't know, a mental connection like probable will. There's no other way. Okay.
Okay.
So we have some examples to give our audience. Yes, of course, we are talking about things that haven't happened yet because it's a probability. So we are always going to be looking into the future in this case, right?
Right.
So our first example is going to be if the universe sympathizes with us, we'll be rich with this podcast. So we have the if clause. That in this case, the subject is the universe, that is third person. So if you pay attention, the verb is sympathizes. Remember that we need to comply with the rules for present simple, yes? And then the second clause, we have will be. So also a friendly reminder that after will, we are always going to use infinitive. That's why will be.
This is a good thing that you're saying because here what we need to do is to combine tenses that we already know, but we need to remember the rules for each of them. So if we are going to use the present simple, as in this case, we have to use the S for the third person, period. And the same with will. It is followed by an infinitive. Okay, so we have to respect those rules and combine the tenses in order to get a conditional.
It's not that because we are dealing with conditional, then the rules for the other things fly off the window. No. We need to bear in mind everything. As always, we need to pay attention to all the details and all the parts that make up the sentence. So bear this in mind because our following example is going to contain a negative clause.
Right. I was going to say that when we mean when we say we have to respect the rules, that includes this the third person case, for instance, for the present simple, but also it includes the auxiliary verbs. So, for instance, if you don't study for the exam, you'll fail the subject. So here, as you can see, we are using don't, right? Something to say about this one. We have the first part with don't, if you don't study. So this is a negative clause. But then the second part contains an affirmative will. So this is another combination that you can do. You can have the two parts in the affirmative, one part in the negative, one part in the affirmative, or maybe the two parts in the negative. This is, you choose according to what you want to say, how you want to manipulate, let's say.
I was thinking that in our last example, we could also say you won't pass the subject if you don't study for the exam. So in that case, both clauses are going to be negative.
That's why I said it, because you can have you have many possibilities here. Another
So,
possibility that we have is to change the order of the clauses. Remember that when we do this, we change the clauses like blocks. We say blocks, right? So we move the entire block to the beginning or to the end, but the parts within those blocks cannot be mixed. So, for instance, for this last example, we would say, you'll fail the subject if you don't study for the exam.
right. The meaning is not altered, yes?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a change in design, let's say.
Right.
That sums up everything that we have to say about conditional type 1. In this case, unfortunately, we don't have a song for you to remember it. Okay? But we do have some homework for our audience, right?
It's a very simple task that they can do while they are listening to us. Of course, as we always say, they can pause the episode, think a little bit, and then play it again, right?
And of course, we're going to leave a copy of the game in our Instagram account, The English Capsules. Yes. So in case you are not very fast writing, you can always have a look at our copy, and there you're going to find the sentences that we're going to read now.
Mm-hmm. Of course, you are invited to leave your comments, your answers in any of the channels here in YouTube or here in Spotify or in our Instagram account.
Right. So the task is very simple. We are going to give you one part of a conditional sentence, and you will have to think of a possible part to complete it, right? With your own words. Remember that we are focusing on first conditional. So again, present simple plus will plus infinitive. Okay?
Okay, so let's go with the first half, let's say, the first half of the sentence. Number one is, if it rains.
So number 2 is, I'll go to the party tonight.
Number three, you will feel healthier.
Okay, and the last one, if you don't complete your work on time, give us your crazy ideas, share with us, and there with the sentences.
Okay, so before we go, remember to subscribe if you haven't done it yet. Give love to our content and spread the word to help our channel grow.
Also remember that you can rate our episodes and comment on each capsule. Activate the bell so that you know when our next capsule is out, and take a look at the description and our Instagram account to take more advantage of our content.
Okay, so that's all for today. Bye for now.
Bye.